So this might look a little familiar to you. This is the back of my audio rack. Today we are going to partake in a little project. This is the back of my processor, which is, this is the Trinnov Altitude 32. As you can see, I have a bunch of XLR cables. So running from left all the way over to the right side, they are numbered 1 through 16. So what I want to do today is connect through this connector here. These are the DB25 connectors. It is a one connection piece which carries 8 channels. I don't know if you can read that, but it says analog out channels 1 through 8. Right next to it is channels 9 through 16. On the adjacent side up top here, this is 17 through 24. And then the rest is 25 through 32. So what I want to do is consolidate all those XLR cables right up there into one cable, into these guys, straight down into my amplifiers. This guy here, my first amp, is the McIntosh MC255. This is a 5-channel amp. This powers my height speakers. And you can see here, that's the XLR inputs. So I've only got 4 height channels, so only 4 going into that guy. And then those are my trigger cables. And then yes, I do have everything labeled here. So this makes connecting and reconnecting a whole lot easier. Then on the second row, on the bottom row, I've got the 7-channel amplifier, which is the MC257. This powers my lower 7 channels. This one also is labeled. All channels are labeled. And everything connects via XLR cables there. So I reached out to AudioQuest and I asked them if they could take these Mackenzie cables of theirs and consolidate them into one DB25 cable. So what they came up with are these cables here. I've got a 1.5 meter and a 2 meter. So this is 5 feet. This one is 6.7 feet. Both the same thing, just different lengths. This again is their Mackenzie cable. This is PVC, so it does not have the braided jacket like the ones that I have on the rack right now, which is okay with me because, you know, if you're moving cables in and out all the time, sometimes the jackets start to fray and it starts looking like a caterpillar. And you don't want that now, do you? But let's take a look at what these guys look like. Again, shout out to AudioQuest for sending this over for review. They did custom make this for me, so thank you for that. It's got the, like I said, it's got the PVC jacket on it, so it's plastic, or well, like a rubber. One end is the DB25 connector. Nice connector. It is not branded. Kind of wish they would have put like at least their brand on there or something, but it's not branded. There's the connection pins, if you can see that right there. It screws in these little guys here into the back of the preamp. And on the opposite end are the XLR connectors. So regular 3-pin connection right there. It has the Mackenzie branding on it. The only thing that's kind of missing here, actually no, it's not. I did not think they put the channel numbers on it, but it does have the channel number right there. So that says channel 2. Let's grab another one. It says channel 3. So each one of these is actually labeled. So kudos AudioQuest for actually labeling each channel. Otherwise you would have to go by one, play test tone through each channel, make sure that you have your correct channel assignments on the back of the processor. We'll see if it sounds any different than using the regular XLR cables. So now all I've got to do is take out all these cables, and then we're just going to connect to the DB25. All right, so this is actually pretty tight connection here. These are some really thick cables as well. If there was one thing that I would change, is this wire coming off the back here, because you essentially have 8 XLR cables cut off at the ends and then spliced into the DB25 connector. So it gets really heavy here. Like if there was a way to thin this out a little bit and then come down into like maybe like a single cable and then have a breakout at the bottom, that would probably relieve a lot of stress on the connector, because as it is right now, this is a pretty heavy connector, and I had to put this lacing bar here just to keep this from putting tension on the connection itself. So if you are going to do this with an AudioQuest DB25 to XLR cable, then you would definitely want to have some kind of a brace to keep this from tugging on the connection itself, because you don't want to put too much pressure on it and have the DB25 connection like rip off the back of your $30,000 processor, because that would really suck. All right, so all the XLR cables are removed and the new ones are connected, and this is a lot cleaner looking back here. Gone is the rat's nest of XLRs. Not that it was messy, but you know, there's a lot more space back here for the preamp processor to breathe, and there's enough room for me to get in and out and move HDMI cables if I get a new Blu-ray player or media player into review. So that's always a positive. One thing that I did add was some black wire loom. If you guys want to pick this up, I'll leave a link in the video's description. But since all these cables are still kind of loose coming off of the connector, I put the loom on there just so it could keep it nice and taut as it goes all the way down to the amplifier. And then I zip tied this to the lacing bar, both of these guys. So that way it doesn't come loose if I'm moving the rack in and out. Alright, so how do these cables sound against the previous cables that I was using? Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. They sound exactly the same. Of course, the only difference is it's coming out of the DB25 connector, which kind of keeps everything a little bit more neat back there. Other than that, everything is exactly the same. If you wanted to go with a different type of cable that wasn't the Mackenzie cable, you can go with something a little bit lower quality. You can make this entire thing out of the Red River cable, the Yukon cables, or the Columbia cables, or any one of AudioQuest's more higher offerings. Even if you wanted to get the DBS battery pack on there, you could put that on there as well. But at the time of this video, these cables, they're basically priced whatever these guys would cost per pair. I think a pair of 1.5 meter Mackenzie cables are like $305 for the pair. So what they do is times that by 4, which comes out to about $1,200. This is 2 meters, so obviously it's going to cost a little bit more, maybe like $1,250 or something like that. So the price is going to be dependent like per pair of whatever type of cable that you choose, times 4. Yes, they're a little pricey, and you don't have to spend this much money. I mean, you can get cables for a lot cheaper, of course. These were some cables that I had previously that I bought off of Amazon. I think they were something like $40–50. Not the highest quality, actually very cheap. They're made out of plastic. This is made out of plastic. So no, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but I think if you do own like a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 processor, $1,000 for cables doesn't seem like so much of a stretch. But those are just my thoughts. Anyways, this is a custom cable, so you can't walk down to like your local Best Buy or Magnolia and pick it up there. You will have to place an order with like a custom installer or your dealer. Tell them exactly what you're looking for, length, model, all the little details. Just let them know exactly what you need. And then your dealer can put that order in specifically for you through AudioQuest. So if you are interested in picking up these cables in whatever length you need or whatever type of cable you need from AudioQuest, you can call our guys at Value Electronics and place an order there. Just give them a call, shoot them an email, let them know that we sent you, and they will hook you guys up. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again in the next video.